Hey, what's going on, everybody? Good morning. Dr. Shook here. I am just in the sauna and getting my morning started off with a little bit of exercise and sweating a little bit. So one of the things I want to talk about was something that I see very commonly overlooked, and it's something that sometimes you just need someone to kind of remind you how to organize your goals and how to figure out how to reach the end point or whatever you're trying to accomplish. And so let me explain to you kind of what I'm talking about here. So I work with a lot of people that are considered sick. They're chronically sick, and I would say that the biggest challenge is they don't understand. Like, even if you share with them, let's say, dietary changes, lifestyle changes, they don't really understand how to get to the end point. Like, how do they actually get healthy? And so it all starts with just thinking about, what do you want to accomplish? Like, what is the end point that you want to be? So most people, if they have Hashimoto's, or they're autoimmune, or they have diabetes, or they don't feel well, it's that they need to get to they need to get healthy. So what you need to do is you have to reverse engineer what you want. If you want to be healthy, then you're going to have to change your diet. You're probably going to have to utilize some temporary nutritional supplementation. A lot of people, they have to eat very frequently, so they have to eat a few times in the morning and the afternoon. So they're going to have to eat about 6 meals, probably 3 meals, 3 snacks. They're going to have to eat very consistently and drink water. Some of them are going to have to change some lifestyle things, and that may seem overwhelming at first. But here's the thing. What you have to do is you have to just look at your day. So think about your week and every day of your week, and think about what you have to do. If you work, what is your job like? What are your hours? How does that change? And then what you do is you just say, well, you know what? I know that one of the core things that I need to do to be healthy is that I have to eat, and I have to eat good foods, and I have to eat frequently. So a lot of the people that I work with, we utilize a lot of different types of dietary approaches to help them try to take control of their health. And so one that's if I was going to make a generalized recommendation, a lot of times we will recommend and suggest that people consider trying something like an autoimmune paleo diet. And there are a lot of other diets depending on what your problems are. And autoimmune paleo is not perfect for everyone. There's no one diet that's perfect for everyone at all. You'll see that if someone's autoimmune, they have a lot of immune sensitivities to partially digested food proteins that can be they're very unique to each person. But if we're going to just say in general, a generalized diet, autoimmune paleo is going to be a pretty good one to utilize as a trial and error approach to see how foods are impacting your autoimmunity, your inflammation, your blood sugar, your digestive tract health. So you decide what your diet is. Like, what am I going to do? Because diet is always going to be the core, a cornerstone of trying to get healthy. Always. It's going to be. It has to be there. It's essential. So you decide what you're going to do. So let's say it's autoimmune paleo. You look at your week. So 7 days of the week, what is your schedule like each day? Okay, what is your work schedule? What is your daily schedule? You need to be this organized, because this is what it takes. And then what you do is you just decide, okay, I'm going to eat, let's say, 3 meals and 3 snacks. And look at your schedule, decide when you're going to eat, no more than 3 hours apart, and you prepare your food. Like, you can batch cook on either a Sunday or a Saturday, and then maybe batch cook on a Wednesday, or you can cook food every single day and make enough food on, let's say, Sunday, for example, for Monday, and then Monday evening, if you cook, you make enough food for Tuesday. And what you do is you pack that food, and you save it, and you have it organized and ready to go. The more things you leave to chance, the more opportunity you have to fail and to not be prepared. And that is the worst thing that you can do, is to not be prepared. Because let's say if diet is the cornerstone of what we're going to do, of how we're going to help people to become healthy, and you are not prepared, and you don't have food to eat, and you let's say you go to work, well, your blood sugar is going to drop because you're not going to have food to consume. You're going to eat whatever's around you. You're going to go someplace and eat a food that's probably unhealthy, or not really what you want to follow on, let's say, like an autoimmune paleo diet. And you're going to set yourself up for failure, and you're going to be frustrated, and you're going to feel defeated, and it's going to be more challenging for you. And it's It is the number one thing that you need to do. You need to be organized and you need to be consistent. So you need to decide why you want to be healthy, because I understand that it's not always a simple process where you just it takes effort. It takes effort, it takes planning. And that's just a prerequisite. That's going to be required. But if you do that, you're going to set yourself up for success. And that is what it takes. And that is probably, if I was going to say there's one thing that tends to be hamper people's ability to get better, it's going to be just lack of failure to plan and to think through what they need to do. So you need to have like some long-term goals, some short-term goals, and you need to be organized to help you reach those goals. So again, if we're going to help someone, and I help people in the office with autoimmunity, with digestive tract problems, if I help them with, so autoimmune thyroid conditions, irritable bowels, whatever it may be, we see digestive problems a lot. If we help them with blood sugar, huge problems. I see blood sugar dysregulation all the time. Then you have to utilize diet to help stabilize a lot of those things, to help to get nutrients in to the person's body so that they can have normal biochemistry and function optimally. If you do that, if the person will plan, they will eat regularly, like batch cook on Sunday. Take all the food that you make, put most of it in the freezer, have it ready to go for each day so you can just pull it out, put it into your lunchbox, carry it with you. You're good to go. That's what you want to do. If you do that for 4 weeks, at the end of, let's say, 4 weeks, you can really evaluate how you felt before and how you feel now. That's a great way to determine, how well something like an autoimmune paleo diet may be working for you. And those are approaches that we use. Like in practice, what I always do is we assess, so we determine how someone's doing. Like symptomatically, we'll look at how they're doing. We'll use blood work and see what their labs look like. We'll prescribe typically dietary interventions, temporary. Everything should be temporary. Even diet's temporary. Temporary diet, temporary nutritional supplementation interventions, and then we will have the person implement those. And so implementing them means that you have to be organized and you have to be able to follow through. And then at the end of 4 weeks, usually about 4 weeks, it's a good time, once you've been doing diet and supplementation for 4 weeks, it's a good time to reassess, not only symptomatically, but also we can get a few laboratory markers and follow up. And here's an important thing: if someone does not improve significantly, or if they feel worse with dietary changes or any type of supplementation, then you're probably not supporting the right biochemical mechanism that's causing them to not feel well. So it's really important that you just know that there's, when we're working with people, when I'm working with people that are chronically sick and we're trying to get them healthy, there are always, well, not always, but there's a lot of times there are a few ways that we can approach their problems. And the simplest way, the cheapest way for people that has the least amount of cost and expense is that you change diet, right? So again, I've said this a lot, but like if I was going to say a generalized diet, it's going to be like autoimmune paleo is probably the generalized diet I'm going to recommend. And then beyond that, you would add in some nutritional supplementation to support the person's symptoms and possibly labs. If you go a little further than that, you're going to do some testing. And typically that's going to be a very expanded, like metabolic panel. That would be a blood draw that you would have done, let's say at like LabCorp, but it would be very, very expanded to look at inflammatory markers, to look at some autoimmune, some antibodies to see if there's autoimmunity that's occurring. We would look at red blood cells to see if there's any anemic tendencies. We would look at blood sugar to see if there's any problems with blood sugar dysregulation. All those things, inflammation, autoimmunity, anemia, blood sugar dysregulation, are going to cause the cells of your body. So every cell of your body has to have oxygen, blood sugar, it has to have thyroid hormone stimulation, and inflammation can disrupt the sensitivity of your body to your hormones. So if you think about the very most basics, the basic things that your body requires to function and operate normally, you've got to have oxygen to the cell, you've got to have steady blood sugar to the cell, you've got to have thyroid stimulation of that cell to drive the metabolism so it can repair, rebuild, produce energy. If you don't have those basic building blocks, then why are you looking at like nutrient deficiencies necessarily? Why are you looking at a lot of things beyond that? one of the challenges I'd say that people have too is that so they're not organized in their approach, right? So they need diet, they need to be very organized in their approach, and they need to be consistent, right? You need to have a schedule. You need to write it down so you know what you're going to do. You need to take a smartphone, like what I'm recording this video on. You need to set in your smartphone reminders. So if we're going to do, like you say, you know what, I'm going to dedicate myself to 4 weeks of an autoimmune paleo diet. I'm going to take nutritional supplementation to help support my my chemistry. I'm going to do these things, and I'm going to do it for 4 weeks. Let's say I'm going to do it for 4 weeks. Then for 4 weeks, you need to like put reminders on your phone, unless you just got it up here and you can remember it, which I use my phone all the time. You need to put reminders on there that's like, okay, batch cook, and an alarm goes off, and it's like, say, either Sunday midday, afternoon, or Saturday, and it says, hey, batch cook. And you need to have a meal plan. You need to have had, you actually need to have like a shopping list. Like you need to do your shopping first, right? So maybe Saturday you have one that goes off that says, hey, go buy this shopping list. You go to the grocery store, you buy your shopping list for the meals for the week. The alarm goes off on Sunday, says, hey, batch cook. You get that stuff out, you batch cook. You should have already, let's see, if you're going to batch cook for the week, right? You should already have purchased your containers. Now I have these little glass Pyrex containers that you can get for like $2.50, but they're glass. It's a glass bottom, and I take 3 of those per day because I have 3 meals per day, and I have about 3 snacks, sometimes 4 meals. And you put it in you prepare your food. You put it into, you already go ahead and portion it out and put it into your little like not Tupperware, but your glass containers for each of your meals. You stick those things into the freezer if they're going to be later in the week. You put them into the refrigerator if it's going to be, like, say, for tomorrow, like say Monday, and then you are prepared. Everything's ready to go. There's nothing except grabbing the food, putting it in your lunchbox, and going. Now the other thing that I recommend is you set reminders to remind you when to eat. Now this is sounds kind of crazy, but that's what I have to do because I get wrapped up in my day, and I will forget to eat because I'm busy talking to people or doing things, and the next thing you know, I feel, I start getting a little lightheaded, or my vision's a little blurred, and what's happened? My blood sugar's gone low. So I have reminders that go off on my phone all the time, and you know what? I'm perfectly fine with that. It helps me to stay organized, and until it becomes completely subconscious for you, and that's even difficult to do, then you need to utilize technology and tools to help you stay organized. Hey guys, Dr. Shook, thank you for viewing our videos. I hope they help you out. If you want to, just subscribe to our channel somewhere here. You can watch a video that YouTube's actually selected for you, so hopefully it'll help you out. If you need any other information or resources, just look in the description. We've got links to our website, to our 9 lab test guidebook, and everything else that we do. I really appreciate you, and I hope you guys have a great